Hello student, I welcome you to this very first computer science class. Here we are going to cover the first chapter, that is Python 2, in which we are going to learn the basics of the Python that you have already learned in grade 11. Hello students, and here we go chapter number 1, that is Python revision 2. So let's revise Python, some basics of the Python. Oh, sorry, not this one of course. So first of all, we are going to learn about token in Python. So what is a token? So do you have any guesses? Okay, I will make you understand token in a simple term by taking an example of a sentence. So in any sentence, in any language, is made up of many words. Okay, we'll take one example. Let's say this is I am learning Python. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It is made up of 4 words, and these words have been given different names. You already know when you're learning these classes. The first word, that is I, is a pronoun, and am is helping verb, learning is verb, and Python is a post noun. So they have been given different name, and collectively these words we call parts of speech. So similarly, in any language, programming language, so the program is made up of many units or elements. So we will just take one example of our codes. It is here 1 to 3 lines codes are there, 4x in range 1 5, if x is equal to 3 and break and this all. So we just try to understand how they have been given name and what name they bear, these words bear there. So keyword is the first one. So let's see, this for, if and break, these we call keyword, and next is your identifier. So identifier is the name of variables or objects. So which is identifier is the x is the identifier, and next here comes the literal as the values, the fixed value. There are 1, 5 and 3, these are literal, and then there is an operator also. So this one, this equal to sign, this is a operator. Okay, and then next comes your punctuator. So you can see there are some punctuator also. So here is a colon, here is semicolon, and this all. So these all words are together called token. These are collectively called token. So if you compare the parts of a speech in a sentence is here equal to the token. So part of a speech in a sentence is equal to token. Now we will just take some more examples here, and if you could identify these all. What is this A? What is this 5? And what is this B? What is this print? If you can name. So A is identifier, this is operator, this is literal, similar way here, similar way, this is identifier, operator, and this we call keyword. Okay. So I hope you understand tokens means each and every words that we write while we are writing any programming codes, they have been given different name and they are collectively called token. Now I hope you understand tokens. Now we will proceed further knowing different types of tokens. So there are many different types of token like keyword, identifier, literals or values, operators, and punctuators. So these are the literals, these are the tokens that we are going to learn little bit about them now. And the first one is your keyword. So what is keywords? Keywords are the reserved word in Python. Reserved word means these keys are identified by the interpreter, and these keys carry special meaning for the interpreter to carry on certain actions. Okay, and these keys cannot be used as a name of variable, functions, or any other identifier. So these are the keywords. We will learn something more about the keywords. Here I could show you a list of the some keywords. So these all are keywords. False, class, finally, is, return, lambda, child. You'll be using there. You might have used it in class 11. If at least this if or not, this def. This you might have used. So this is the list of keywords. So keyword is over. Now next we are going to learn about identifier. So before we proceed, I just want to ask a question that how do you identify people around us? So obviously by their names, isn't it? So similarly, some parts of the programs are also given some names. So some parts of the program also given names, and those names we call identifier. So what part of the program bear this name, we'll know. If you want to create a variable in the program, so definitely you have to give a name to it. If you want to create any function of your own, you have to give some name to it. If you want to create a class, so you have to give a name, or if you want to create list or dictionaries, so you have to create a name. For example, if you want to write a book, so at least you have to give a name to your book. So similar way, if these unit you want to create in Python, so you have to give name to them, and that is why these are called identifier, because they identify. These are the identifier for those elements. Okay, so how can we give name to those elements? So we'll learn a little bit about the naming rules. What are the rules to name them? So there are some rules to name a unit in Python. We cannot use keyword as the name of identifier. If you want to name anything, so you won't use the keyword that we have already learned. The keyword that are reserved words. So we cannot use them as identifier, and variable name may be made up of letter, number, and underscore. These three things you can use: number, letter, and underscore. But still there is something more you to bear in mind. So variable cannot the name of the variable cannot begin with a number, means you cannot start the name of the variable with number. Suppose you want to give a name to a variable, and you start, let's say, 0 r 0px. So this is not correct one. You cannot start with 0. Okay, so these are the, you can use underscore, you can begin with the underscore, but you cannot start with the number, or only number cannot be also name of the variable. Now what are the variables, by the way? Okay, variables are generally called the referencing label, or we call a memory location. Here example, see, this a is a variable that is storing 5. C is again variable that is storing A, and B is a variable with storing. So these are the example of the variable. Okay, so we will move further. So now let's be sure that we don't make any mistake while giving any name to the identifier. So I just want to show you something here, that which all word could be correct as a name, and which all word cannot be correct. is the name. So if you are giving variable name is A, so it's correct, you can give it. But if it's giving 2, so it's incorrect. If you write XYZ, ABC, anything, so it's correct. But if you write 2ABC or 2XYZ or 2A, 2B, so it's wrong. Why? Because it begins with the number. And next, if you use my underscore folder, because if you want to give a name that is made up of 2 letters, so you can join these 2 letters with the help of underscore. You cannot have space in between those words. So underscore is the right special character that can be used. So it's correct. But if you write my dot folder, it's wrong because dot is not allowed. Other than underscore, no any other special character it allow here. If you write link, it's correct or anything. If you write for, so it's incorrect. Why? Because this for is uh, reserved word. This is the reserved word. You might have seen this in the list of the reserved word. So it can't be an identifier. So this is identifier. So keyword and identifiers are over. Now next we are going to learn about the literal, or they are also called values. So literals, what are the literals? Literals are data atom or fixed values that we input into computer as a raw data. So any value that you input using a keyboard is called literal. It may be string, it may be one character, it may be number, different type of number. So these we call literal. For example, A, B, C and 2. So one is string and the other one, this one is string and this one is number. So these they have fixed value. You cannot change the value of 2. Value of 2 will always remain 2. Value of A and B and C will always remain A, B, C. You can't change them. So these we call literal, the fixed value, the raw data that we input. So there are many types of literal in Python. So first one is string literal. That just we have talked here. ABC was a string literal. So we will just a little bit more. We are going to learn about them. Okay. So a character or a series of character could be a literal. A character means single letter. Let's say here is the example of A. Okay, this is one character or one letter. Here is group of letters, and this is also group of letters. One thing you might have observed that these are kept within the quotes. Here is a single quote. Here is a double quotes. Okay, and you can keep them in triple quote also. Triple quote, 3 quotes. Okay, whatever it is. So it doesn't mind, the Python doesn't mind you put them in a single quote or double quote or triple quote. So as I told you, you can put the string in single, double or triple quote. Here is double quote and triple quotes. Okay, and not only this, you can write your string in single line, double line or multiple line. Here you could see that this one is a single line, here is a double line, hello and then backspace. With the help of this you can start a new line, and here I use triple quote. Actually this is not correctly printed here because of some inbuilt problem. So triple quote, here is a triple quote. So with triple quote you can use double line, triple line or whatever you want. So this is how you can write a string. Now next is your numeric literal. So numeric literal is related to the numbers only. The numeric values are called numeric literals, and there are different types of numeric literals like integer is there, floating point literals and complex number literal. So these 3 type of numeric literals, and further even if you are going to learn about integer literals. So these are the integer literals. These are the example of integer literal. 2 minus 2 45 minus 4 5 4 5. So any number value signed, it is written here signed. Signed means with the sign. Here is a minus, here is a plus. If no sign is there, that will be considered as a plus. So it may be minus, it may be plus. So next form of integer literal. So these are the literal, but these also have a different form. Different form means decimal form, octal form, and hexadecimal form. So decimal number, the number that are comprises of 10 digits from 0 to 9 are called decimal number. So these are the decimal number. In our day-to-day life, we use decimal number. And octal number means digit 8 made up of 8 digits from 0 to 7. So there are only 8 digits 0 to 7. And how do we write it? It will begin with 0 and followed by O. O means octal, and the number 4 5 6. So 0 O, and let's say if I am writing 6 8 9, so is that right? No, it's not right, because 8 and 9 are not a digit that we use in octal. We write only up to 7. So this is octal number. Hexadecimal numbers, number that are made up of 16 elements, the digit from 0 to 9 and the letter from A to F. And this is how we write it. Okay, starting from 0 followed by X. X means hexadecimal, and then this number up to, it is followed by A or B or C up to F. So these are the three forms of integer literal. Three forms of the integer literal. So these are the real number. Okay, there are three forms. And next we are going to learn about the floating point literals. So floating point literal means is a simple real numbers with the floating points. Real number with the floating points. And you could see it's a 2.0 minus 3.45, this. Even this, we generally put 0 before this point. But if you don't put, then also it is accepted by Python. It will automatically put a 0 before it or consider it as a floating number. So these are the floating number. You can even have a sign before that, minus or plus. So these are the floating number. Now next comes your complex number. So complex numbers are in the form of a plus bj, a plus bj. So where a is the real part and b is the imaginary part, because j is represented by under root minus 1. So this will become imaginary number. Though a and b are the real number, okay, they are the floating number, but j is the, because it's a imaginary number, so this whole part become imaginary. So if anywhere we want to learn more about this complex number, so we will cover it later on, but for now we'll proceed further. Now next is the floating point with okay, next is your Boolean literals. So Boolean literals, Booleans are the true and false value. You might have learned about it, true and false. Only two values are there, true and false. So this you might have learned. Next is your special literal none. Special literal none means if no value is supplied, so that is taken as a none. Value none means absence of the value. If I create a variable, let's say a, and nothing is supplied to that, so that means the literal none is supplied to that one. Next is the operator. operator, you have already learned about the operator. These are the symbols that get done the computation as mathematical, logical, and relational computation. Okay, so you have already learned about this operator. And next is the punctuator. Punctuator, we have just little bit talked about them. Okay, so here you could see colon, semicolon. These all we call comma. These all we call punctuator. So here, in this example, there is the example a equal to 5, and this colon is there. This is the punctuator. So these are the keywords we have learned. So first of all, it was your keyword, then comes your identifier, then comes your literal, then comes your Boolean literals, and a special literal operator and punctuator. After this, we are moving further and having a look at the bare bone of the program. Bare bone of a program means the structure of the program. So whenever you write a program, so what is your structure look like? So here you could see there's sample program. It start with this sign. Can you identify what does this sign mean here? So this sign has is used to write comment. Comment you already know. These are not the part of the program. They're generally written by the programmer to give some comment or remarks. So these are not interpreted by the interpreter. So comments. Now next comes your function. These are comments. Now function, this def is a function. Even that print is a function. So functions are inbuilt program, or even the programmer can make his or her own program. These are a small piece of program that receive data, process it, and give you output. So these we call functions. Now next is your statement. So statement, or sometimes we call expression. So these are actually the syntax that are written in order to get the required work done. So for example, here the work is done, b is equal to a minus 5. So little bit we learn more about it later on in the program. So comment is there, function, statement, expression, then comes your block. Block means a group of syntaxes that are written together is called block. Here you could see one block. This one is a one block. Okay, and this itself is a one block. This from here to here is one block. Okay, so means a group of syntaxes, they are related to one another, is called a block. And then there comes indentation. Indentation means you can see, as in when you write some essay or something, so we put some indentation. So this is space, is called indentation. So some are written from this margin, some are written from this margin, you could see, or maybe some would be written even this next level margin. So this we call indentation. So comment functions. Comment means written as a remarks or as a comment in the program, not part of the program. Function are a small program that can be found in the library, or you can make your own. Statements and expression, we are just going to define these blocks, group of program put together. And this is inline function. Inline function means you could see the function starts from here. It doesn't begin as unlike this function. It's a written in the line only. After some syntax, it's written here. So this inline, and this is called indentation. Okay, so now next we are going to learn a little bit more about expression and comment and this other part of the Airborne program. Here expression, they are the combination of symbol with values to evaluate, as I told you, to get some work done. So for example, here it's a x is equal to 6 plus 7. So this is expression. Now next is comment we have already covered. Okay, I'm proceeding further. Functions is also, I have just given a little bit insight of function. So these are the small program that takes input, process it, and gives output. So this is called function. For example, print x. So print x. It's taking a value from user, the value in the x, it's processing it and giving you output, whatever the value is there. Now block and indentation, I have just covered it. Block is a piece of code that execute a unit, one unit. Indentation is a space given for better readability and understanding. Here, this is called indentation. We have already learned about it. Okay, so next thing we are going to cover is about variables and assignment. So variable, I think you already know about the variable. So variables are the, you can say, okay, it's a memory location, but in Python, it's not actually a memory location. So it represent labeled storage location whose value can be manipulated during the program run. So we will just try to understand this more minutely. What does this mean? How to create a variable. So these are the way how we can create a variable. Mark is equal to 5, employee is equal to Razat. Okay. So it's not only creating a variable, but assignment is also done here. So marks is created here. This is the name of the variable, or you can say name of the label. And this is assignment operator, and this 5 is the value that is assigned to this marks. Okay, similar way here. Now next we'll see a diagram here. So actually what is happening here in other program like C++ and Java, if I write int a or int marks, whatever it is, so this means I have created a memory location whose name or whose address is a, and if I write equal to, let's say, 2, so I have stored 2 here. So this is the concept of variable in other program, but in Python it is different here. So when I create marks, I haven't written int or a string or anything even here. This is also different. This is different from the other program. So I have to simply write marks and equal to 5. So that means what is happening inside, actually that 5 is being stored somewhere else. This is a memory location and this is the label. This we call label. Okay, label. Means this is just like an address nameplate that is put before the house at the door. But the person is in the house. If XYZ, if something is written at the gate XYZ or Xing or Ying, so that means the person is inside the house. This is only the nameplate. The similar way, marks is the nameplate or label that is referencing the memory location. This memory location have some ID. Okay, let's say 2, 4, 5, 0 numbers. Okay, this will learn later on. Similar way, this is a student. Okay, this is a label. Now we call it a variable, but it's a label only, and this is referencing other memory location that is storing the value here. So this is a little bit idea about the variable and assignment. We will learn more in the next video. So next we are going to learn about the dynamic typing. Tapping. What does tapping means? Tapping with the keyboard? No, it's not tapping. Tapping means creating a variable to store particular type of data. Okay. So data, you must have some idea of the data. Let's say integer data, floating point data. Okay. Strings are there. So to store this type of data, we have to create the memory location, that is variable. So in other program, as I said, if you want to store a number, let's say 5, so and its name is, let's say, a, so you will write int a. Int means integer type of data. Okay, so int a. So while writing this means the variable a or the memory location whose address is a will store only integer type of data. If you want to put other string type of data into it, so it won't accept. If you want to say okay, you want to put your name here, so it won't accept it because it is already assigned that it will store only integer type of data. Similar way, if you want to store some name or a string, so you will write down a string first. A string is done by the mouse. Okay, so it's not perfectly written here. So a string, let's say any name, let's say string x, so it will store only string type of data. Okay, so this is with other programs C++ or Java, but here we are going to learn the dynamic typing. So that means it's a different, the Python is different from, suppose so far you have seen that wherever we create a variable, I say a is equal to 5, so this is fine in Python. I haven't written any data type here, so this 5 will be automatically stored here. So the interpreter doesn't mind whether you have written the data type here or not. It will automatically, by seeing the data, it will automatically store it here. Next time you have written a is equal to, let's say, x, y, z. This is a string. So even this time also it won't complain. Next time it will store x, y, z. That was not here. That was not possible here. So mean to say that while the program is interpreted, the interpreter doesn't mind that what kind of data you are, what type of data you are storing in that variable. That we call dynamic typing. Means the type of the variable will be looked only when the program runs, not before that. Okay. So a variable to store integer, string or float number. Other program like C++ and Java variable are created as follows. So how do we create? I have just given you a little bit insight of it. Okay, let's see some more example. Int age is equal to 15. String name is Raman, etc. This is the way how we create variable. But here in Python it's different. It's a age is equal to 15. Name is equal to Raman. So no type is written there. No type is written here. You can see the int is written here. Okay, int is written here, string is written here, but here nothing is written, nothing is written. So this is different, and we'll just try to understand more about it. So while we creating int a15, so that means this is a variable a, it's a memory location also, and the number is stored here only in case of other program, but in case of Python, if you create a is equal to 15, means you have created the variable a, that is actually a label, it's a label, and when you say it's equal to 15, the 15 is stored somewhere in other memory location. So here a is the address of the memory location, here a is the label of the memory location, not the variable. We will see one example. Age is equal to 15, print age is equal to Monica. So no complaint here. Initially it was integer, it accepted. Next time in the same variable we stored a string type of data, no complaint. Okay, print age. So output will be 15 and Monica, no problem. So this only we call dynamic typing. So one more thing, I just want to make you clear about it, how it is possible here the same variable can be assigned different type of data. Okay, here first integer and then the string. So actually when first time we create int a is 15, so there's is a memory location here that is storing 15, and this is the name of the label is this is indicating or this is referencing one memory location where 15 is stored. Next time when I created is Monica, so now this is now this time this variable or this label is indicating this next new memory location that is storing Monica. It is no more indicating this one now. So this is how it is possible to assign different data type to the different to same variables. Okay, so because it is possible because the variable is not a memory location unlike other program. It's only label. You can put the label. Suppose you have a nameplate. Okay, let's say XYZ nameplate of the house. So there are two house. Okay, first time you said okay in XYZ you have put it here XYZ. So next time you put it here, so it will indicate this one only. It will not indicate this one. Okay, so this is possible here. Now some more example on this. So other program int age is equal to 15 and age is equal to Sagar. If you do this means one time you have just assigned integer to age, next time is assigned Sagar to age, so it's not possible, it is wrong. But here in Python int age int Monica it's possible. So this one we call static typing and this one we call dynamic typing. So we are done for today. If you want to recapitulate it, we'll just briefly do it. We'll learn about the types of token, keyword, identifier, literal or values, operator, punctuator. Keywords are the reserved word. You can introduce this reserved word for name of any function, name of any variable. These are the list of the keywords. And then identifiers are the name of the elements in the Python, name of the object or any other variable is called identifier. Naming rule we have learned we can use a letter, number and underscore, but the variable name cannot start with any number. Okay. So and we can use keyword as an identifier. Now literal value, string literal is the A, B, C or A can be put in double quote, single quote or triple quote. Numerical, there were three types of numerical. We learned integer literal, floating point literal and complex number. And the integer literal, there are different form. We have learned about the decimal form, octal form and hexadecimal form. And then floating point numbers are actually the decimal number with sign or without sign. Okay, then complex number is made up of two parts. Okay, one is a real part and another is an imaginary part. Boolean literal, there are two values 0 or 1 or true or false. Special means if there is no value assigned, so that is a special literal none. Operators are the symbols that make possible calculations, and punctuators are used to punctuate. Airborne, we have already learned. Variable in assignment, this is also covered. Dynamic tapping allows the interpreter to recognize the type of variable during the runtime of the program. So that is for today, and we'll continue the next lecture. Thank you.